Hey guys, Nick here, and today we are getting into the Saviors and the Whisperer War, and we will see which side will win, which side will fall, and the aftermath of the entire thing. This is part 26 to What If Sophia Joined Negan, probably my most longest running series as of now besides What If Rick Spared Shane the remake. Anyways, the Saviors prepare to find the Whisperer camp. Quick side note though before that, Frances still did give up her baby, except this time it was at the sanctuary, so Adam might not be called Adam, he might just be a savior baby, so figured I'd point that out before the whole war thing happened. Anyways, back at the Whisperer camp, Alpha compliments the fact that even though Sophia definitely seemed like a dangerous menace along with all her men and everything, and that their ways were wrong, she respected her bravery and such, and thinks about finding a way to make her join her side. But before anybody can think of anything further or say anything further, bullets seemingly fly out of freaking nowhere to the Whisperer's camp. Complete surprise. It did take time to find the Whisper camp, but they found it. Mary, Frances, and several other Whisperers are killed within the ensuing frenzy. But Beta, a bunch of other Whisperers, and Alpha managed to survive, getting shot maybe once, twice, and call together the rest of their people who are not dead and try to get walkers on their team as well to fight whoever's attacking. And we all know it's the Saviors. And unfortunately, Arat and Justin actually die here, along with Gavin, who lived longer than any version of him. Arat and Justin, they would only live a bit past their time. But Gavin, Arat, Justin, and several other Saviors are killed. So you could say it's almost even at this point. The war, by this point, a Savior-Whisperer war, Negan or no Negan, would definitely be something to witness on both ends. Carol, seeing Gavin die, especially because, they were in a relationship, sets her a bit on edge, and now she is more determined than ever to not only make sure that Mika survives, but Sophia, because she still is her firstborn. She's her child. So she finds Beta and prepares to fire an arrow. But Beta throws a knife the same moment Carol shoots her arrow. So you could almost say it's like a split-second reaction, What If Negan Killed Maggie remake sort of vibe again. More or less put this in because I feel that it's a really cool way to show what can happen with a split-second reaction. But anyways, Carol finds Beta, fires her arrow, and Beta throws his knife, or one of them, at the same time. Now the arrow, it doesn't kill Beta, but it does get lodged into his shoulder. So, you can imagine for even Beta how much that would kind of hurt. But for the Savior side, it is very shocking as to who was exactly hit by the knife. And it wasn't Carol. And it wasn't Sophia. But Gavin and everybody else is dead. So did it hit a random Savior? Or are you just faking us out, Nick? Well, the unfortunate victim of the knife straight in the stomach is Mika. It was all so fast that nobody could even see where the knife went. Same with the arrow. So, whenever Carol actually sees what happened, you can imagine that not only she lost the man who she was in a relationship with, but she lost her pretty much adoptive daughter, and the closest thing to family besides Sophia. And Sophia, you can imagine how this is affecting her. Surprisingly, more so than Carol. Because with everything she had been through, everything she'd lost with Negan, and losing her old group, getting them back, seeing her mom again, her pretty much like half-sister, has just seemingly been killed. And this makes the Negan part of her, the dark Negan part of her, really begin to flame out. But Beta, he doesn't really know what's going on or anything. He just knows that he killed someone and he got an arrow lodged into his shoulder. But he does think that they're definitely going to attack. One of them, at least. One of the only remaining saviors. And he isn't going to give them the courtesy to do so. These guys think that they can just come into the Whisperer camp and attack Alpha and himself? Well, they're wrong. And Beta rushes towards the closest person to him, which is Sophia. But Sophia being angry right now and everything else, this Sophia is not going to play ball with having just a fight. This is literally personal. And Sophia, with her bat and every other weapon at her disposal, combats Beta. And seemingly, it's sort of half even. But as the fight continues, Beta seems to realize this woman, he did not think that any other woman besides Alpha would be able to hold his own, or her own, against him in a fight. And it's definitely starting to put him on edge. Also, arrow lodged in his shoulder, so that kind of puts him at a tiny little disadvantage there. But slowly but surely, that advantage begins to get more and more to Sophia's side. And we would see a recreation, sort of, from how Negan fought Beta in the comics, except it would be different because of Sophia and the way which she would fight. And Negan's bat would not break here after she would continue striking, because we would get to that part. Like I said, trying to make it replicate the comic. Not because I really want to, it's just the way that I feel the fight would turn out in this regard. But anyways, because Lucille was never set on fire and has been through way less turmoil than the originals and was never left out in the dirt, Lucille's much more durable here. So Sophia, she keeps on swinging and swinging and swinging and swinging, knocking Beta down within an inch of his life. And right before Sophia's about to go for the head and end it all, boom! A shot rings out right into Sophia's back. And this wasn't just an ordinary gunshot. This was a shotgun blast. Straight to the back. Alpha, who had been waiting for the perfect chance to strike after the Saviors invaded her camp, found the opportunity right before Sophia was about to kill her number 2. But Sophia, you would think that, oh, you hyped all this up for Sophia to kill her? Oh, no. She's very much alive. And begins to try and fire a shotgun blast of her own. Because remember, she has a shotgun not too far from Alpha's design. Except, obviously better in the regard that it's been in much better condition and much more ammo. But before she can fire her shot, Beta, with all the strength that he has left, gets one of his knives and throws it straight at Sophia's stomach. So yeah. The exertion that Sophia's put into fighting Beta and swinging at him over and over again, now being shot in the back by a shotgun and then thrown a knife at in the stomach, Sophia's beginning to weaken. But she is far from done. This is the most resilient we would see Sophia ever at her best since the fight with Michonne. She takes the shot and succeeds, shooting Alpha straight in the chest, knocking her to the ground, because even though Alpha seemed like a durable menace, she was to a degree, but compared to how Sophia would be in this story, she just does not compare. She's honestly just paltry. She just had an advantage to take a shot, more or less. During all this, and after Alpha falls to the ground and the battle seemingly won, Lydia comes over to Alpha's seemingly dying body and says that she can't say that her mother didn't deserve this. And maybe this is just all karma for what she did to her, how she presented herself, what she did to other people, how she became. It's just poetic. But Alpha, after having all this done to her, and now her own daughter freaking just call her out like that, you can imagine that Alpha's not going to take too kindly to that. Alpha grabs for her knife and, not caring at all, tries to do something against Lydia, because at this point, Alpha's just lost her freaking marbles. But Sophia sees this, and she has plenty of strength left to bear, seemingly, after all the damage done to her. Takes her shotgun and fires her shot straight at the same place where she had just shot Alpha. So if you thought one shotgun blast to the stomach was bad, or a blast to the back and a knife through your stomach, try 2 shotgun blasts from a savior shotgun in the same area in the stomach. After, she quickly makes sure that Alpha can't get up again, gets her switchblade, and stings it straight into Alpha's neck. And seemingly, this ends it. The war between the Saviors and the Whisperers is over. Kind of rushed between, pretty much 2 episodes of them meeting. But honestly, with Sophia's involvement and her being in the Saviors this long and being the leader, it's just how it would go. But the battle truly isn't over, because plenty of Whisperers and the whole Horde is still around. And they ain't gonna back down without a fight. Well, the Whisperers, more or less. Carol, seeing this, after everything's said and done, knows that with just the 2 of them, they can't take them all on. They would run out of ammo or anything before they would even make a dent, even with all the weapons at their disposal. And they have to try and get back and just formulate some plan before the Horde reaches other communities. But Sophia says no. And Carol's like, what? Sophia says that she's going to take them on alone. She will do everything she can to make sure that they don't reach the sanctuary or other communities. It's her rectification for getting everyone here killed, for putting her rage before her smartness, for not being the leader that Negan would have wanted her to be. Everything that she's done, she now feels she needs to correct for. And this is the only way, and her mother has to trust her. Carol, seeing that Sophia is injured, but seeing her determination, seeing the woman that she's become, Carol can't fight her. And even if she could, she would not win that argument. Sophia is headstrong and says that she better come back alive. And Mika, who is still alive, by the way, Sophia says to get out of there. But she needs to get out of there now if she wants Mika to live. And with that, Carol carries the dying Mika back to the sanctuary, while Sophia confronts the Walker and Whisperer army alone. But can she do it? Or is this the end for our lead character in the story? And that's where we're leaving things for the moment. Hope you guys truly enjoyed this episode. Like I said, the end of this series has been coming up for a bit now, but next episode will be the last. And like any of my finales for any story, it will be a long episode. So stay tuned, and I hope you guys have enjoyed the series so far. And for the next episode, make sure you definitely get something to eat or drink before then, because you'll be surprised generally how it ends. And with that all out of the way, I will see you guys in the finale next time.